Hello, Trauma Rock Stars. Welcome to this really exciting episode. I want to introduce you to this beautiful woman who's here with me today. This is Shari James. She's an RN. She is also a tantric spiritual healer, and she also is certified in nervous system regulation. She does a lot of different work with men and women, but she's got decades of experience. She does have quite a bit of experience with trauma, but also other modalities. So we're going to talk into that. So I just want the world to meet this beautiful woman. This is Shari. And Shari, why don't you start out and kind of just go back to the beginning, how you got on this path, because you've been doing this for so long and it's just amazing what you're doing.
Well, it all started in 2005 when I had what I call the big Kundalini awakening. So it wasn't like a little zippy Kundalini activation and then I just went back to my life. It was heart opening, shot out of my body, and stayed like that for 2 weeks.
How did that happen?
I was working with a teacher who gave me Shaktipat, and then now I discovered I have the ability to do that as well.
That's amazing. Okay. So 2005, your world completely changed.
I was writing comedy at the time. Yeah. And I lived in Los Angeles. And so how do I want to say this? So much light filled up in my brain that I became white blind. So all I could see was light. So I was blind, but it wasn't like black blind. It was light blind. And while that happened, I heard a voice and it said, "You're a healer." And I'm like, okay, I'll do that voice. I was new to all this. And while I was coming out of the white blindness, a woman got a hold of me that I'd never given her my phone number. And she goes, "I need to see you. I need to see you. How much do you charge?" It was, and I'm like, $40. Like $40 just came out of my mouth.
You just threw a number out there.
I'm like, $40. And I set up an appointment with her and I called my teacher. I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm a healer now and I have my first client and it's someone who randomly called me. And what am I going to do? And he's like, "You'll know what to do." This is very, very him. And he was inevitably right. I did intuitively know what to do. And the person was actually suicidal at the time. So it was a very extreme way to start out.
That's interesting because I don't know this person's experience, but they say desperate people do desperate things. And for that to come to them, to reach out to you was a huge gift. Did you end up having a long-term relationship with this client?
Yeah, definitely. And it was a really big way to start. I mean, that's a big responsibility for your first time with no training, to be dealing with someone in that state.
So 20 years ago, this happened.
Yeah,
about 2005. Yeah. So when this happened up until 2005, were you on a journey in this direction for your work?
Since the early 90s.
Okay.
I was definitely on a journey. And I think back then reading Deepak Chopra was popular, Wayne Dyer, Carolyn Mace. I mean, those were the popular ones. I always had a proclivity towards intuition, even as a young girl, and being in nature and talking to animals and knowing things and being highly sensitive. So I would say 92, 93 is when I really committed to this path of spirituality.
So in 2005, you really started doing this as a profession at this point, after you got your first client and things like that. So did it just kind of happen naturally?
Well, whenever someone has like the big Kundalini awakening, you get software like downloaded into you. Some
Okay.
people will be, I know someone who became a prolific artist and he was a surfer, owned a surf shop previous to that. I know someone who was an accountant and then became like this galactic healer. So when this happens, it's like you get new software put in, and mine was to do with sexuality.
Yeah. Okay.
So being a sexual healer, I think because I've been a safe person. You have to be safe. I was comfortable with it. And so that became, really my starting point.
Interesting. So would it be called a sexual awakening, the practice you do with your clients, or?
I would call it a sexual energy awakening because
Okay.
I don't actually have to touch anyone and it's not sexual.
Right.
Yeah, so definitely I'm working with sexual energy specifically.
Mm-hmm. So for people, this is new. So for you, people are saying, oh my gosh, she's this, Tantra spiritual healer, that aren't familiar with what that is. Myself included. I'm new to this as well. Very intrigued and excited about the topic. So how would you explain it to a newbie that's just watching this for the first time?
Sure. Well, I would say the difference between, my way of working and maybe someone else's is that, and the reason I even include the word Tantra in it, the way that I know Tantra to be is you're taking the sexual energy, the powerhouse, lower energy centers, think of them as like bass music and like a rap song. Like there's a lot of power and intensity there.
Yes.
And then we're moving them the way that I do it. I move it through the organs and then also through the central column.
Okay.
And some people will have a very spiritual experience because I'll bring them up even further. So it depends on where someone is at. Someone may be just blocked sexually or have some trauma sexually, and that's as far as we get, is unblocking that, the first time. But typically we just move up. Some people, sexual energy is absolutely amazing for unlocking dormant DNA. The only thing is when you unlock dormant DNA, you often unlock trauma. So
what actually is dormant DNA?
I'm going to take this in a weird direction if you want an honest answer.
I want full on it. Yep.
Okay. Well, essentially we live in a false matrix. And we've been genetically tampered with through other species as basically to create a slave race. And part of the work I do is to use this energy to unlock get more accessible strands of DNA so that we can start to experience, why I'm getting goosebumps, like why we're here, and to come into our full capacity as, human energetic beings.
And are we naturally sexual beings and it gets blocked over experiences in life, or?
Naturally, you mean the human self?
Yes, the human.
I'm gonna, yes. But there's nuances to that, right? So sexual energy, creative energy, life force, we get to decide what we want to do with that. I do find that people that are naturally highly creative, or even some people that are naturally driven highly towards success, if it's not from a past trauma, they might have an abundance of sexual energy. They have a higher capacity, higher constitution. So there's varying degrees. I would say women are naturally, I almost want to say, more sexual than men.
Really?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just that from religious programming and just kind of going back to the false matrix,
Yeah.
it's been, that expression has been so repressed that they are blocked. They don't want wild, happy, orgasmic, pleasure-based women running all over.
Right.
How would they control the men?
I know you do work with people with religious shame and guilt and things like that. You have that experience. Is that more in men or women, or is it equal across both? Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely both. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think especially, there's a lot of religious shame and guilt that was, I think, brought to us from generations that we carry.
It's ancestral. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot working against us in that way. So we can use the sexual energy to burn that out.
You were telling me that just in the past 4 years, you've been dealing with a lot of trauma, that were up until then, you hadn't really been dealing with trauma as much as you are now.
Yes, absolutely. And I really think it's because of COVID that created a trauma. And for men in particular, they can be slower to feel.
Okay.
I mean, every case I have with a man, even if it's for my holistic healing of erectile dysfunction or helping men, learn to last longer in the bedroom, they're so traumatized. They're so, all I do now is trauma release, every single case.
Do you think this has to do with the vaccines? All that heavy metal?
That heavy metals, that's going to create neurological problems and inflammation in the body. So I'm talking about the trauma of uncertainty. I'm talking about the trauma of powerlessness, having people die, loss of control. That was just pure fear.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I never, when you said 4 years, I never put together 2020 was COVID.
Before that, no trauma. Didn't have clients with trauma. So there's, a line in the sand here.
Yeah, for sure. That's not a coincidence. I guess explain to me, so you've been dealing a lot with trauma. I know you have quite a bit you want to talk about, so I don't want to take up your space. I want to give you time to talk about that. So where would you start, with somebody when they first come to you? Do they kind of know the direction they want to go with how you're going to treat them as a client, or do you have to guide them? I know if somebody calls you and has issues with ED, you obviously know right there. But some people might not know. They might feel stuck or lost or not even know why.
Gosh, every person is so different. I would say I have a very customized approach. Some people are just ready, and I can blaze through an hour of trauma release.
Wow.
Boom, 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 boom. Oh, it's sexual abuse. What, your babysitter? Okay, boom, 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 boom. And they're like, oh my gosh, I feel fantastic. I feel light. And then, then later down the road, my whole entire life has changed. I'm like, yeah, you're no longer on the trauma frequency, and other people, I would say thinkers have a harder time than feelers. With thinkers, I have to move much more slow. I have to establish trust. I have to work to drop them from their mind into their heart. I have to get their nervous system very relaxed. So a thinker will require more and will move much slower than a feeler. There seems to be two different thinkers or feelers.
Gotcha. You, a few minutes ago, you called it trauma something.
The trauma frequency.
The frequency. Yes. Explain that a little bit more, because I know what I've learned, and I'm not an expert, but trauma is so, I was just shocked how much it affects your nervous system. And
100%.
I'm so in touch now in my healing journey with my nervous system now. It was a lot of work, but now I understand. But explain that frequency and how it affects like everything in your life.
Well, let's say trauma keeps its promise. Shame keeps its promise. Guilt keeps its promise. So it's like once that, because to me, I'm so energetic that everything is a frequency. And so when your trauma, if not done with a high level of awareness and how do I want to say this? There's two things that are really hard about trauma, and it's not just the trauma. It's staying out of the victim mindset.
Oh my gosh. That's like huge. Okay. I'm getting goosebumps. Okay. And what's the other one?
The other big thing about trauma is how other people in your life respond to it. That to me is in a lot of ways more heartbreaking than the trauma itself. There is a lack of empathy, compassion, and curiosity towards someone who is dealing with trauma. And I can say that from personal experience as well.
You're making me cry right now.
Oh, do you need a moment?
No, it's okay. Go ahead, because you're on a roll and I'm loving it.
Okay. Well, that was the biggest thing that I discovered for myself. I know how to heal trauma. I know how to stay out of victim, but boy, the main thing that I heard is, but you look good. You look beautiful. You look fine. And I'm like, my vagus nerve collapsed and I've been on the floor for a year. I'm not okay. I feel like I had to convince, just go for a walk. You just need a walk. And I'm just like,
yeah.
Or you really find out who your friends are when you are dealing with trauma. And again, this has been really shocking to me. The most like spiritual type person can have the least amount of empathy and compassion. Your own family can have, but a stranger can have an incredible amount of empathy and compassion. So I would advise anyone who's dealing with someone who's been traumatized, if you don't possess empathy and compassion, please possess curiosity. Please, I'm like getting the goosebumps again. Please, to ask someone, what does it feel like to be you right now? What are your fears? What are your concerns? Are you feeling isolated? Because I'll tell you, the more my trauma went on, the more I intentionally isolated myself.
Yes.
Because of the lack of empathy, compassion, and curiosity, because it wasn't worth getting angry over not being seen anymore. Right? Like, so it's like, see me. And oh my gosh, I'm like, do I need, like, I hate to say it, like, do I need cancer? Do I need to have like a limb cut off? Like, just because you can't see it, or just because I'm having a good hair day, doesn't mean that I am not, my nervous system and my psyche and my energy and my spirit isn't shattered beyond recognition. I'm getting goosebumps again. It doesn't mean that I've become a version of myself I've never met before. That I don't recognize. I'm terrified. So if People would find that out if they had at least curiosity.
It's really powerful for you to say that, because everything you're saying that's happened to you, this has happened to me. And I think many people that have been through trauma will be able to relate with this. And do you think, I have my own opinion on this, but I feel like people, especially the one, like you said, there's spiritual people that surprise you. And then there's other people that come out of the woodwork and you're like, where did you come from? And then they end up being this big, huge support for you. And I have two theories. I think one is fear, because people are so self-absorbed that they don't want to get too involved with you, of fear that they're going to get sucked in or something like that into what you're going through. And then I think a lot of people out there are just not emotionally intelligent enough to be able to handle it. So I feel like the ones that are either fall under either one of those categories, they just kind of fall off naturally, And
I started pushing them off the cliff.
Push them. You have to push some of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah. I mean, do you agree with that, or do you have another theory?
I agree with those kind of archetypal examples. And I would say also that people, they just don't know what to do with you.
They don't know what to do.
That's where curiosity comes in.
Yes.
What can I do for you? How can I support you? Let me look up the symptoms for that.
Yeah.
I guess that's another thing too, I could say, is that people try to be helpful in ways that are not helpful.
And they don't know. I mean, some people mean well and some people are just idiots, right?
After a while, well-meaning gets old.
Yeah.
Then it's like, I have to be alone.
Yeah.
Because your well-meaning is so off base with who I am and what I stand for. And I cannot tell you 10 times that, no, that would not be a way for me to handle this.
Yeah.
So
it's funny because you mentioned you want to talk about the empathy, compassion, and this is the curiosity part of it. And I think a lot of trauma victims, and I'm sure you see this in clients too, that they kind of feel like they're off on their own island. And there's people like you, there's this podcast, there's all kinds of other support groups. There is help out there for people, if they want to find it. But I feel like it gets so overwhelming and it's mentally exhausting, and you're already mentally drained because, like you said, you're now meeting this person you never knew existed in yourself.
Yeah.
And you're looking in the mirror and saying, who am I now? So you've got this new relationship you have to form with yourself.
You're crawling to the mirror saying,
yeah.
I don't even recognize myself. Who am I?
Do you feel that with the curiosity piece, they can grow to build that empathy and compassion? Because there's certain things, that saying, fake it till you make it, I hate it, because you cannot. It's an energy and it needs to be natural, right?
I wish there was more empathetic and compassionate people on the planet.
Do you think by just extending that olive branch, the curiosity part of it, and having that open line of communication, they can develop that empathy and compassion that a trauma survivor needs?
I haven't found that to be the case.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And that's where they fall off.
Yeah, I've not, unfortunately.
Or like you said, or you push them off the cliff. Is unfortunate, but that happens.
It is unfortunate because when you're traumatized, you're getting more and more and more isolated.
Yes.
your circle becomes so small.
Yes.
After a while, it becomes, what's the point, you know? And then you start to merge out of the trauma, and it could take years.
Yep, it
like
does.
there's no stopwatch or there's no clock on this. It takes as long as it takes.
Yeah.
And you emerge out, and yes, you are a different person, and you're nervous. Everything's different, and it's like a little like newborn in a lot of ways, and like, oh, like my old people aren't there anymore, and it's scary.
It's funny because some people that you think would be there through thick and thin, they disappear, and then you almost have to go through a grieving process.
Yes, for me, those were the first ones to bail.
Yeah, the ones.
And I'm just sitting there thinking, for some reason, I'm the one everyone calls when a parent dies, even though I've not experienced that, but I am empathetic and compassionate.
Right.
And I'll drop everything I can for a friend.
Right.
So it was shock, you know, yeah, you're sitting there like, I was the first one, and you can't handle a day of me being traumatized. Like, wow, like this is, so that adds so much more emotionally on top of it, because yes, you're grieving this friend, or a parent, you're grieving a parent that you just can't talk to because they can't see, feel, or hear you. I will say that now I'm finally in a place in my life where no matter what's going on with me, anyone in my life, those are my prerequisites. You must have the capacity to see, hear, and feel me. If you cannot, you are not in my life.
You need to have those high standards for yourself.
So there's going to be less people, but the ones that are there are good. They're quality.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The smaller your circle gets, though, the
higher the quality goes.
The more the quality goes up, I guess. Because, you know, people, it's funny because I always, growing up, and this was because I had no clue who the hell I was as a human, as a person. I didn't know who I was, my self-worth, all that stuff growing up. And you see, I was always admired these people that had all these friends. You know, they got all these friends. They're constantly busy. And now I'm like, I feel sorry for those people, because I'm like, I can look at them now and going through all this, and you're very in tune with your energy too. I can spot a person a mile away and say, you've done zero work on yourself. It's funny how our perspectives change as we start going through our healing process and becoming more in touch with who we are and our energy that we're putting out there to the world. Because we want to get that back, you know, whatever we're putting out.
Well, I would say that I'm now more, I was naturally empathetic and compassionate just as my nature. But now it's like, wow, probably going to goosebump out on this one too.
This whole thing has been
my capacity to hold other people's pain and trauma is immense. And I'm like, wow, like I didn't have that before.
But now you can fully feel it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the ability to hold space for someone else's deepest grief and hold them in that for as long as it takes, even if it's a year. Just let it, just to completely, I can't explain what, it's the capacity to bring me your deepest trauma, your most gut-wrenching grief of the human experience, and I can wrap my arms around it and I will feel it with you. I mean, I can't have 10 of those, but I mean at one time, but I mean,
yeah,
I can do that. And it really is such a gift because I had to do that for myself.
Your clients have to feel that, because that's got to be what sets you apart from other people that do or try to do what you're doing, because you have firsthand experience. You're so in tune with what's going on around you, whether it's energy around you, people's energy, whatever around you. And when they come in, your clients come in to see you, you've got to be able to feel that pretty quickly from them, to feel safe and comfortable with you.
That happens very quickly. Yeah,
it's
definitely. I would say at this point, there's no trauma that scares me. What's your worst? Bring it.
Right. You could have one person in an hour that you get through and it's a great session. And then there's other people that they just can't open up and be comfortable. And it might take longer for that. Yeah. Is that just kind of like peeling an onion with them? Like you said, you have to customize it per client. There's no, and one size fits all.
With me, when people connect with me, there is healing. So the more I can connect with someone, the more benefit they get with healing. So a lot of it's connection based. And it does take me, again, like there's thinkers and there's feelers. I definitely can connect more easily with a feeler, or more quickly than with a thinker. A thinker takes more time.
So when you're working with an individual or a group, you said you don't touch them at all.
No, there's no need.
It's just, is it the energy of what you're doing and explain?
This is my gift. I mean, I recently had a client who was in Sweden, and all I had to do was hold my hand up to the screen, and I was able to go into past life Egyptian Sumerian timeline slavery trauma, unlock it from his DNA, have him re-experience it and be freed from it. So this is my gift. It's like it being an energist or something. My work with energy is pretty advanced.
Can you feel it right away from somebody when they come in, or do you have to have some conversations with them beforehand?
I have all of the clairs. After my initial Kundalini awakening, I got all of them at once.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
All the clairs in the comments.
Okay.
It's like hearing, seeing, feeling, intuiting. So I got all of them all at once right after my awakening, and that was 20 years ago.
Wow, that's incredible. Somebody doesn't even necessarily need to speak. You can feel it.
Yeah, when I'm ready to. When I'm just sitting down and chit-chatting with someone initially, I'm not in that mode.
Are you able to shut it off?
I mean, you know what? I shouldn't. So the craziest thing, I have this one client who's got a Native American background. He's in Washington, and most of my work is virtual. So I'm used to just sending energy through a screen and doing all this. And every time we get on, the first thing, I act as a medium, and his ancestry shows up with me, and they tell me what to tell him, and it's like every time it's like instant. So again, like everyone is different too.
So with him, you don't have a choice to shut it off. It just happens.
No, they all show up for him.
Wow, that's incredible.
So I do mediumship as well. It's just, that's what I mean. I have all the clairs. I don't even know what they're all called. I just have them all.
You just know, because it's got, I always wondered that if it's like, if you're able to just shut it up and rest, because it's got to be exhausting sometimes.
I allow bigger, I do not work back to back. I always allow, for my Tantra ceremonies that are extremely intense, I allow myself at least an hour in between, and I can do at the very most 3 a day, but I'm spreading them out to where I have an hour and a half break. My 1 hour work, I have 30 minutes in between. So I can't do people back to back. Like, I have to have time to just like move that energy. Maybe that's something that would be interesting for you to hear, is when I'm releasing energy from people, we're sending it out the crown. And then sometimes if they don't have that capacity, it'll move through my body like a rush.
Oh, wow.
So like this kind of dark like ball will come off of them and go, because, and it's fine, it goes right out. Things don't stick to me because I'm so clean.
That's interesting. When you were little, did you have any idea that you had these gifts and you were able to do this, or did that not come until you started working?
I thought it was all normal, like talking to animals and going down and we would go frog catching and the frogs would jump into my hand. Or we would go fishing, growing up in Western New York, and literally I'd be like, this is so easy. It's like everything with animals has always been very easy for me.
Well, we're both Buffalo girls, which I wasn't sure if that was going to come out. Go Bills. Hopefully it's their year. But, I find, so with trauma, and I've said this 1,000 times, is there's no one size fit all. There's no trauma that's too big. There's not trauma that's too small. There's no time frame of the perfect time to go. Your healing journey's yours, and it's one of a kind. And, when you said, like, people don't know what I'm going through with everything. One of my favorite sayings, and I've said it so many times, is just because I carry it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy.
Right. Just because you look good, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're not destroyed inside.
Exactly. You must have people that come to you that are just completely lost.
I think the ones who choose to not work with me are lost.
You think it's out of fear?
Yeah.
What do you think they're afraid of?
Seeing themselves and actually taking the time and space in their life to feel. I mean, plant ceremonies is great, but there's nothing like someone who has reached mastery to a certain degree who can hold up a mirror every time you show up. And a human is different.
I first got really far past my healing journey through it, doing MDMA. It's really what catapulted me to go through, completely through the door. Like, I am on the other side of it now because of that. And I'm so thankful for it, because I don't think I could have gotten there as easily without it.
It's faster, just like how I use sexual energy to heal. It's faster.
Yeah. And so, but talking to you, it seems like, again, you've got to be ready. You've got to be open, and to have that awakening naturally like that has got to be so powerful. And for you to be able to bring that out in somebody, explain to me how you bring that sexual energy out in someone, because I know it's different for everybody, but just
breath work.
It's all breath work?
Yeah, breath work.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting, because I love breath work. And it's funny because you said people that won't work with you out of fear. That's where I'm trying to start doing a lot more shadow work, because I do want to see those sides of me that you see doing the shadow work and stuff.
Shadow work is areas where someone is unconscious. So yeah, definitely. I think we should call something back that we touched on earlier, but that's a really deep, important thing to talk about, is how to not be a victim when you're traumatized.
I was going to ask you that. I'm so glad you're going back to this.
That's like when my traumatic stuff started happening to me 4.5 years ago, how I stayed out of victimization, because it certainly feels like it, it feels like you're a victim, and it's a foundational human archetype. I mean, we all have it, just to varying degrees. So what I did is I would zoom out whenever I need to do something. Like, I zoom out from it and I'm like, okay, it's almost like writing down bullet points.
Okay.
So it's like in my journal, let's say, I'm like, what are the bullet points? What are the beats? That's more of a screenwriting term, but what are the beats of what happened here? Man, this, Shari, this, money, like, whatever it is. And I wrote it out in bullets, and then like took myself, it's almost like I was watching a character, not in a disassociated way, doing this consciously, and zooming out from it. And I'm like, okay, this is what happened. Right? So this is the plot. It's the plot is always what moves us forward. So this is the plot that then moved me forward, or I should say inward, in a particular way. And zooming out far enough over time, I'm like, wow, like I can see where this all started. And I can see how this person came in my life to traumatize me. And then I can see how that person came into my life to traumatize me. And by just kind of, like I said, bullet pointing the story, the plot.
Like growing backwards almost?
Yeah, well, it depends where you are in the cycle. If it's fresh trauma, it's going to be a lot more tricky to do that. And like just zooming out, and that's how I refused. I made a commitment. I'm like, you are not going to feel like a victim under any circumstance.
Right.
Because I don't want, well, it's not that I got a lot of empathy and compassion anyways, but I don't want that. I don't want people to feel sorry. I want them to understand. So, I mean, that's one thing that I did to stay out of victimization, is just continue to zoom out, and out. And it becomes less personal. The interesting thing is when you still have your thumb on some of the characters that created the trauma, over time, you start to see that it wasn't personal. You start to see that this is who this person is. Last year, someone swung into my life and I got the person out very quickly because I could see that the person wanted to cause me trauma, to traumatize me and to hurt me. And it was like, bang, like boom, boom, you're out. Like I got that person out so fast.
Yeah.
I'm sure it made his head spin.
This is so interesting you're saying this, because like you said, it's like the bullets, and you go back to the beginning on how it happened. And why do you think people are addicted to playing the victim? There's a lot of people out there. I know them. You know them.
Yes, I do. For some, this is the real tricky line about the victim.
Yeah.
The victim is often the perpetrator. So there's different types of victims. There's victims that are so blind, they can't even see how they perpetrated it. Let's say, I'll just use male-female example. Woman just keeps in a relationship, female just keeps like tanking a guy until he finally snaps and like shakes her, and then she's like, I'm traumatized. It's like, so that's like where the perpetrator is the victim,
right?
And that's a level of narcissism,
right?
So I personally don't deal with narcissism or even narcissistic clients.
I
just don't go there in my life. My life is too short.
Yeah.
But there are other people that aren't like that do also play the victim. And I mean, you could tell the person 25 times, okay, you're playing victim again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know why you don't do something as a human unless you get something out of it. I guess sometimes you can get attention out of it. I'm just trying to think of like a fairly recent scenario.
Negative attention.
Well, no, then you get to call all your friends. Do you believe what she did to me?
Yeah.
So then there's that one. Yeah. The victim thing is such a trap for anyone involved.
It's a huge trap. And I sometimes feel like I'm thinking about some people I know right now, and I almost feel like they don't even realize how deep into the victimology they are. It's just all they've ever practiced.
It's probably not for lack of people telling them, because I do tell, like, I'm like playing the victim again.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, you almost get to a point, you got to have tough love with them and just be honest, because you're not going to do anybody any favors not being honest with them. And it's funny.
Unconditional truth. That's another rule for my friendships, like unconditional truth.
Yeah. Well, you're doing them a favor by doing that.
And I want it too.
You want it. Yes.
Yeah.
Me
I want
too.
Unconditional truth.
Don't sugarcoat it. You mentioned when we first got on, and I think we both started tearing up and got goosebumps yet again. You mentioned how there's so much lack of empathy and compassion out there. We know that if people just come with a curiosity mind, it could help shift that. But do you think there's less empathy and compassion out of there? Do you think since COVID? Or do you think that it's just human nature? Do you think it's what's going on in the world?
I think the more we live in a world of survival, weather is traumatizing, right? We live in Sarasota, like we had 2 back-to-back hurricanes. That does a number on the nervous system. I think the more someone is in survival, the more selfish they are.
Interesting. Yeah.
And we live in a time of like planetary narcissism, because we are living in very extreme uncertainty.
Yeah.
And I do think that the pandemic amplified whatever was already going on inside, right? Like, look, do you have any idea how many couples broke up during the pandemic? Like, the numbers are staggering, because I
was one of them.
Oh, okay. So you finally had time to like slow down and like what was going on there.
Yeah, I know we're coming on the time here, but I want to ask you, because I think people are going to this is going to get people to at least start thinking, which is my goal. Like with this whole podcast, I just want people to start thinking and to start talking or start journaling. What would you say, somebody's like, they listen to this, they start thinking, I may get in touch with Shari. Like maybe she could help guide me in the direction I want. What would you say to somebody that is in the very beginning stages of that, like the first step that you would recommend for them to do?
The first step with trauma in particular, I think it takes a minute to recognize it. Mm-hmm. It even took me time to recognize that I didn't know that I was traumatized until I collapsed on the ground. I didn't know. So I think sometimes you can be so traumatized that you're disassociated or you're at that edge where your nervous system is like, I can't handle one more thing. And then one more thing, and it might not be traumatic. It could be just one more thing.
Yeah.
And you just break.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it's like, you got to take this seriously, because there's nothing more important than your nervous system. Your nervous system is controlling every function in your body.
Yes.
This isn't something you can sweep under the rug. And even stress is cumulative. Mm-hmm. So it's all going to add up, and at some point you have to take notice of that and make healing that a priority.
Ignoring it is just going to make it worse, because like you said, your nervous system takes over your body. And with me particularly, I had suppressed so much of my trauma for 40 years. I don't know how I didn't get sick, Shari. Like, I don't know how I didn't get I'm talking like major, serious sick, not weak and tired. It's going to catch up to you. So I think, like you said, just that first step is just the awareness of it and being kind to yourself.
Take it seriously, because if not, your body's going to make you take it seriously and it'll be more extreme.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because I remember and this was kind of like the beginning of when I really had to wake up and start taking care of myself. And I don't have time to have the nervous breakdown that I deserve. That's what I said. And when I said that out loud, I was like, what the hell is the matter with you? I don't want that. I don't want to end up in the hospital. I want to live the rest of my life in peace and happy and light. And I think that's maybe like the first step people need to think, like, how do you want to live out the rest of your life? Let's not look back. Let's look forward.
There's nothing more important than the health of your nervous system and your brain.
Yeah.
Nothing. Move. If you have a mansion, if you're living in a huge house and you're barely holding on, sell it and get a studio apartment. That's how, and I gave myself that advice. No matter what, this is now the priority. And I didn't experience trauma until I was already in my 50s. It was new to me. I'm like, what's this? How did this happen?
And no one's immune to it. I mean, here you are, you've been doing this for what, 2-3 decades now.
Yeah.
You've been helping people, and no one's immune to it. Like, no matter how together you are, how in touch you are with your body, your nervous system, your spirituality, emotionally, nobody's immune to it. It could happen out of the blue.
Absolutely. I would say that I was the most resilient, strong person that I knew who had not experienced these things. And boy, did I go down quick and hard. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. And I have all the education, the awareness, the teachers, the tools, and I got demolished.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I am so sorry that happened to you. I want to thank you for being so open, and the conversation has just been so helpful to me. Like, I feel like you were in my head a lot of times when we were talking, because I had goosebumps the whole time. I'm like, why are you saying the things that are in my head right now? And I think a lot of people are going to resonate with this. I want people to know they're not alone. You're not alone. And there are people that are more than curious. There's people like myself, you that have empathy and compassion, and maybe we haven't walked in your shoes or been through the trauma you've been through, but we can be there for you at a level that you haven't had before. And that's why I'm trying to create this community, so we can all be here for each other and support each other. So do you have any last words before we close things up?
Trauma is time travel. Get present with it.
Wow. I'm going to go to bed thinking about that tonight. That's amazing. That's the first time I've ever heard it described like that. That's incredible. Thank you.
It's time we free ourselves of this, and
we free ourselves.
Life. Yeah, live our fullest lives.
Thank you. This has been great. I'm so glad to introduce you. You're a trauma rock star yourself, and you are. And I'm so blessed to have you on this. It means the world to me. I really appreciate it. This has been awesome. Your energy is incredible, and I just thank you so much. And we'll have to get together. We'll have to get together soon and go out for some coffee or something.
I'm here.
All right. So am I. Thanks, Shari. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. The content on this podcast revolves around personal life experiences and is meant to serve as a learning tool. I am not a certified therapist or medical expert. This podcast doesn't offer medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're curious about your mental or physical well-being, feel free to reach out to a licensed healthcare professional for assistance.